welcome to this edition of North Penn News. I'm Alexa Duffy.
And I'm Lauren Schwartz. In our first story, kindergarten students at Montgomery Elementary created surprise gift packages for a fellow classmate's dad who is serving in Kuwait.
Are nice.
Good. My name is Christina Glonner. I'm a kindergarten teacher here at Montgomery Elementary, and today we put together packages for soldiers. One of our kindergarten students, Nelson, his dad's away, and on Veterans Day we talked about what a veteran is, and we decided to put something together for his father. So the children donated food items. We packed them away for them today. We also did projects and crafts. We did an American flag with their handprints, and the kids really they learned a lot about what a veteran is and have a good understanding of their dedication and what they're doing for us.
Soldiers are brave.
Excellent.
Soldiers are strong.
Soldiers are strong. Good job. What's interesting is they came up with some really good adjectives all on their own. They knew what the word brave means. They used words like dedicated, which was very impressive, helpful, kind, and strong. Those were the ones that we used most often, but they knew those all on their own. They did not need to be taught. They really had a good understanding of that.
All members of the North Penn community are invited to give back this season by donating blood. The North Penn High School Key Club is sponsoring a community blood drive on Thursday, December 18th from 3 to 8 p.m. To register, email Linda Law at the email on your screen or go online to redcrossblood.org and select North Penn.
Where will you be in 50 years? Will the North Penn High School class of 1964 return to their alma mater for a tour before their 50th reunion this past weekend? Nearly 50 alumni toured the halls of Penndale Middle School, which was the high school from 1956 to 1971 before the new building opened here in Towamencin. The class of 64 were awestruck by the amount of technology and opportunities provided to students, such as music technology and Penndale TV. They have recalled courses no longer offered, such as metal shop and driver training. I wonder which courses you are taking today will be a thing of the past when each of you return for your 50th reunion in 65, 66, and 67.
The North Penn School District School Board held their annual reorganization meeting this week. Vince Sherpinski was retained as president of the board, while Tim Kerr was voted vice president once again. The board also approved meeting dates for the next school year for committees. For more information, please visit npenn.org.
Keeping a holiday tradition alive, Lansdale held its 64th annual Mardi Gras parade featuring many North Penn representatives. The North Penn Marching Knights, Night Riders, baseball and football teams, cheerleaders, and the North Penn Alumni Association greeted an eager crowd. Mascots from the elementary and middle schools high-fived the spectators throughout the parade. For more information on the Alumni Association, visit npaaa.org.
Fourth grade students at York Avenue Elementary got a lesson in the topography of Pennsylvania.
Hi, I'm Julie Albert. I'm a fourth grade teacher at York Avenue, and in fourth grade we learn about the state of Pennsylvania and the geography of Pennsylvania. So we identified the landforms and the mountains and some major cities on the state and the major rivers in Pennsylvania, and first we plotted them on a map so that we could locate them on a paper map. And now the students have been making salt dough maps, and we labeled the bordering states, and they're in the process of actually painting the dough now. And I'm hoping that they will be able to identify all of the geographical items that we had done on the paper map, and they're going to mark them with flags and labels. I'm hoping that this project will give them a hands-on experience that they will be able to apply then to a map whenever they look at it by working with the dough and making the mountains with their hands, and then doing the painting of the mountains and the rivers, that they will be able to identify all of the different geographical features of Pennsylvania anytime they look at a map.
A Penfield Middle School student's efforts in the science field led him to meet a very special person. Tiffany Liebel has more.
Jonathan Okazinski is quite an amazing ninth grader. He is interested in science and is absolutely fascinated with a phenomenon called quantum entanglement.
Well, I like to browse around libraries, and I was just browsing around the library one day and I found a book called Entanglement by Mira Axel, and that was at the completion of last year's science fair project, which I did on batteries. And my mom said that I should do something a little bit more complicated. And this book covered all sorts of quantum phenomenon, including entanglement. And I found it very interesting. It was just kind of like a different phenomenon that you would not be able to see in everyday life. And it was very useful because you could do things like quantum teleportation and true random number generation with it.
The 12-year-old's parents encouraged him, but he had to receive some adult support.
I think both my parents thought I was kind of crazy because neither of my parents have a background in this sort of area. But between like a lot of Googling, some help from mentors and books, I was able to learn a lot. Back at Penfield, Mr. Testa has been very generous and allowed me access to come in to work on, to cut some of this stuff, like these pieces, at his shop. And Mrs. Maurer was also very helpful and helped me write a grant application to help fund this. But besides that, all the work is pretty much done in my basement.
Quantum entanglement wasn't the first project that Okazinski tackled. The last project he entered into a competition was on rechargeable batteries.
I noticed that my mom's smartphone battery kept getting lower and lower over time. It seemed to last for shorter periods of time. So I thought that I would research different compositions and how they affect one another. And so what I did was I looked up and tested a bunch of different factors and then made a weighted score for each of them to kind of create a total score. And I found that by changing which one of the factors was most important, I could easily change which one would be the best battery.
In addition to being selected as one of the top 12 students in the competition, the Penfield Middle School student placed second in the STEM Mathematics Awards category. He not only received these honors, but he met President Barack Obama.
They weren't allowed to tell us beforehand, so they said that we were going for makeup photo shoots, and then we were going to go to the National Air and Space Museum. But then they told us on the bus that we were going to the White House, and everybody was very happy. It was very exciting. They took us in, and then President Obama came in, made a speech, shook our hands. It was very fun. There were a lot of jokes in his speech. I think that was what struck me most. I think his jokes kind of broke the tension because some of the kids seemed tense, but after his speech, nobody really seemed that tense anymore. And we introduced ourselves and said where we were from. It was very exciting.
While in D.C., he took part in many different activities that were put together for all of those participating in the Broadcom Masters competition.
Well, we spent most of the time there working on these STEM challenges that were organized for us. So some of them were we had an Alka-Seltzer bottle cap rocket that you had to figure out how much weight you would add to make it go to what height and then set for a target height. There was one where we had to make a roller coaster for a marble with 3 vertical loops in it and a lot of different fun activities.
Through his experience, Okazinski remains humble, saying that there were some areas that were experimentally not very good in his project, so he plans on continuing his work. In the future, he wishes to continue studying science, although he is not sure which field he wants to pursue. Nevertheless, his love of the subject will propel him to succeed in whatever field he chooses. Reporting for North Penn Television, I'm Tiffany Liebel.
The North Penn Marching Knights recently traveled to East Rutherford, New Jersey, and MetLife Stadium to perform in their final event. They competed in the U.S. Bands Group 5 Open competition, which brought marching bands in from across the country. With a score of 97.95, along with winning recognition for Best Overall Effect, North Penn would be crowned national champions to end a fantastic season. Congratulations to Director Mike Britcher and all the Marching Knights.
The current North Penn High School FBLA chapter president is now one of 4 students from across the country to be on the National Council. North Penn News reporter Chris Makoviak has more.
So I've always loved business, and what really excited me about FBLA was an environment where everyone loved business as much as I did, and everyone was just so driven to learn more and succeed, and those are the type of people that I wanted to be around.
North Penn High School senior Oscar Armas-Louis has always held a passion for the aspects of the business world. 2014-2015 FBLA president rides that passion each day, and now the senior will implement his knowledge on the national stage. Armas-Louis was recently selected to be on the FBLA National President's Council as the programs director.
I was really excited to get the position of programs director because FBLA has given me so much over the years, and it was awesome to be able to give back to the organization and make it a great experience for all the new members. I work directly with the organization's leadership to create post-high school and extracurricular opportunities for our members to help them further themselves professionally and in their chosen careers.
Armislui continues his position as the North Penn FBLA president and enjoys seeing his drive for the business world in the members of the North Penn chapter. Along with workplace applications, the senior emphasizes that he has learned much more than business strategies over the years in FBLA.
If there was one thing that members could take away from being a part of FBLA, I'd say that if you work hard and you bring passion to everything you do, you can make your dreams come true.
Reporting for North Penn News, I'm Chris Makoviak.
Congratulations to the 15 North Penn High School students who were chosen by audition for this year's district chorus. These students will participate in a 3-day festival at Abington High School in January, where they will have the opportunity to advance to regional chorus.
Members of the community had the opportunity to take a tour of the North Penn School District as part of the celebrations for American Education Week. North Penn News reporter Carlos Puentes has more.
The future of North Penn is bright inside the buildings and classrooms of the North Penn School District, and the North Penn community had the chance to see this excitement firsthand as they took a ride on the Bus to the Future.
Bus to the Future is a celebration of American Education Week, and this is an opportunity for our community members to come into our schools and see the incredible education that's taking place in North Penn School District.
The day began at Pembroke Middle School, home to approximately 900 students in grades 7 through 9 and 130 staff members. After performance by the orchestra, Principal Jim Galante welcomed the visitors to their first stop of the day. Here, the guests visited family and consumer science, English, and science classrooms, and the day ended by musical performances by the Pembroke Chorus and Jazz Band. Up next was Montgomery Elementary School. Welcome! Principal Sean Arney greeted the guests as they began their tour. As they walked through the building, the visitors had the chance to see Montgomery's 578 students and 80 staff members hard at work. Up next for the bus was North Penn High School. After the North Penn Marching Knights drumline welcomed the bus with great fanfare, Principal Bert Hines welcomed the guests to the building where just over 3,000 students and approximately 325 staff members spend their school day. Stops on the tour included North Penn Television, the Art Pod.
We are making posters for elements of art and principles of design.
A JROTC demonstration, and the morning wrapped up with a performance by the high school's chamber choir. As afternoon approached, the bus toured the Transportation Department, the North Montco Technical Career Center, and enjoyed a lunch prepared by the NMTCC Culinary Arts students. For those who rode the Bus to the Future, the day was a unique way to experience just a hint of the magnificent things happening every day in all 18 schools in the North Penn School District.
We hope that people have a chance to experience what our children are experiencing, to see the quality instruction, our wonderful teachers, our incredible support staff, everything that we have in place to give our children a wonderful education.
I think they're getting an appreciation for all the awesome things that are happening in the North Penn School District. They're seeing it firsthand, they're seeing kids explain things to them, and nothing is better than actually hearing it from a student.
It's been a great program today. It was really impressive learning about what the students are doing in the different schools, especially here at the high school. I was very impressed with the engineering program and the different scholarships and things, plus the singing and the presentations that the students have done as well have been really wonderful. So it's been a nice day.
From North Penn Television, I'm Carlos Puentes.
3 Pembroke Middle School students were selected as the winners of the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation's School Bus Safety Poster Contest. Juliana Gober placed first in the competition, and her poster design will be entered in the national competition. Brian Durkin and Ryan Munch received second and third place. All students received a trophy, gift cards, cash prize, and a tour of the governor's mansion.
That is all for this edition of North Penn News. I'm Alexa Duffy.
And I'm Lauren Schwartz. Just a reminder to check all of our programming on youtube.com/NPTV. We leave you tonight with a performance from the national champion Marching Knights.